Welcome back to another first impression, this time for the anime. My gift, level 9999 unlimited gacha, backstabbed in the Backwater dungeon. I'm out for revenge. Very short title. Synopsis from any list. When Light is kicked out of the Concord of the Tribes, his former comrades instantly turn on him. Light escapes to this diabolical act of betrayal by the skin of his teeth, only to find himself in the deepest part of the abyss, the most dangerous dungeon in the realm. To avoid being eaten by carnivorous monsters, he uses the unlimited gacha, his soul magical skill. But where it previously only produced junk items, this time May, a gorgeous level 9999 fighter in a maid outfit, brings forth. Fast forward 3 years and Light has carved out his kingdom in this Backwater dungeon, summoning more beautiful level 9000 warriors who spell absolute fealty to him. Now a powerful level 9000 Overlord himself, Light plans to ascend to the surface and take revenge on his betrayers one by one. Now, this synopsis is more or less telling you what happened to the first 3 episodes. We have Light, who is the guy in the middle, and he's a human. In this world, this is not an isekai, as far as I know. This is just a fantasy world, even though it has unlimited gacha, even though the title is super long, which screams isekai garbage. It seemingly is not. So he's a human. Humans in this world are seen as pretty weak because their stats are not as good, they can't level as long, seemingly. And in this world where we have a bunch of different races, they are seen as one of the weakest ones. Now, he wanted to go adventuring to try and make money, to help his family home, and he is not successful. He went to the Adventurers Guild, he showed his ability, unlimited gacha, he got like a bent fork, he got a rotten apple and rotten bread out of his gacha, which is like strange. Because whenever he uses his gacha, which looks like a real gacha currency, he gets a card and then he can release the card and he gets the item that was in the card. The card showed a normal fork, but the fork that came out was bent for some reason. I don't know. However, he is not being successful. He did some minor quest. He then comes across the Concord of the Tribes. Now, the Concord of the Tribes is the party that scoops him up. And this party they presented themselves as, hey, we want to get rid of racism, so we want to make a party with a representative of every race. We have the wolves, we have elves, dark elves, we have lizard man, and naturally we also need a human. There are more races, but I only remember a couple of those. Turns out they then go into the abyss, the strongest dungeon, and they want to kill our guy. Now, why they want to kill our guy is because they are hired by some higher-ups in different countries to search for something called a maestro. That seems to be a person, potentially super strong, we don't know, but they are in search of someone like that. And if if it turns out that this guy is not a maestro, they are supposed to get rid of him. Okay, so far good. Now, this is a setup. Naturally, as they try to kill him, he triggers a teleportation trap, and he gets pushed further down the dungeon into the deeper parts, where he then summons May, the level 9000 fighter in a maid outfit you see at the back. That is the setup. Now, This show is somewhat infamous because of the long name it has. And long names are not necessarily a good thing. I would say they are most of the time a bad thing because the genre they are in is so oversaturated. They have to more or less explain everything inside the title to attract viewers or readers for the novel. And for some reason that just stuck around. So most of the time, the longer the title, the worse the quality, in my opinion. It could also be that there's just too much stuff going on, too many shows and novels to fish out the one that is good. Now this one, not as bad as I imagined. There are some pretty decent ideas here that I like, and again, I feel like it has at least potential to be a fine show, something you can enjoy. One of the things which is not relevant that I found very interesting. This is inside my head. It's a little tangent. In this world, there are centaur. Now, centaur in our world is shown as, half human, half horse. But mostly the bottom part of a horse, the upper part of a human. So it has like 4 legs and 2 arms. However, in this world, they did only the lower half. They took a human. The lower half is like a horse with 2 legs, and the upper half is like a human. Similar to a minotaur, which I never considered because a minotaur is normally half human, half bull, or bull, whatever. So theoretically, they should also have 4, the bottom half of like a bull, but they only have 2 legs, which is interesting. Why we have centaur in like 4-legged horse bodies, Again, just a tangent. Let's go back. So we go. He summons this strong fighter. From this point on, we could have gone and go back upstairs, try to kill all the people, probably successfully, because the average level was like 400, so 9,000 is a lot stronger. However, what he decided is, hey, I'm making my own kingdom. And that he did with this gacha. Sadly, the kingdom, the time jump is like over in a second. It's like, hey, I use my gacha. Okay, bam, 3 years later. And he has a full kingdom. He has people in there. He has like the whole economy. It's a whole ass kingdom. I don't know how this works, but he seemingly did. And that is where we really start. He also summons 3 more 9,000 plus, not mates, but companions. Those are the bottom 3. We have a cat girl who is like a tamer. We have the stupid girl who is a swordsman, and then the smarter one who is like a mage. And the idea is that, as you saw in the synopsis, he himself is getting strong because he's training every day. And his idea is to take revenge. And he wanted to be really sure, so he acquired all of these strong companions through his gacha, to then go up and take his revenge on not only the party, potentially all the people that are behind and pulling the strings. Or maybe even take over the whole world. Who knows? I feel like there's some parallels to Overlord. It feels they took like inspiration from that. There are some parallels. You have like a dungeon, you have a kingdom inside like a dungeon that is somewhat disconnected from the rest of the world. You have super strong companions, you have a super strong main character. Naturally, there are a lot of differences as well. Heinz is a totally different character. His motivation is different. He wants to find other people. Meanwhile, Light, wants to take revenge. The characters themselves are a lot more different. In Overlord, the companions, they are all very multifaceted. No, that is not a good way to say that. They each are very interesting characters, very different approaches to character designs, which is very nice, very varied. Even though Overlord has a lot of companions, none of them feel the same, which is pretty well done. In this case, I would say the same. However, we don't have as many characters. We only have like 4 companions, seemingly. And that is what we see in the first 3 episodes. We see him trying, preparing to take revenge. It could go into could be fine, could go into a fine direction. We will see. Animation was not bad. Yeah, it was not bad. Was pretty solid animation. The main character, I mean, it's fine. We will see how he's going to be going forward. I do like a little bit more of a grim approach, that he's like, hey, I want to take revenge. And this seemingly not turning into revenge porn. We will see. It can still do that. And so far, it seemed fine. Seemed a lot better than I assumed it would be, which is saying a lot. Now, I do want to show a little scene. This is a little bit later, but just to showcase how he wants to take revenge, or what his preparation was for that. So yeah, that is his army that he prepared to go on his revenge spree again. Could be interesting if we have like he's going into fights. There's like fights against kingdoms and stuff. It could be interesting. Could be a very solid idea. It could also devolve. That is why it's always, I'd like to wait for 3 episodes to make myself a better picture. Sometimes a little bit harder to do. This one probably could have used a couple more. Ratings wise, we have 64% mean score on any list and 6.63 on my anime list. Man, the name. And I would say, after all this yapping, I would give it a 7 out of 10. It seemed fine. It could be very interesting. Could be a solid show.